What I want to talk about right now, Chris, is an organization that focuses really on telling stories. Some of them are stories of York County. Some of them are personal stories. My favorite is that it's right in the center of York, in York City. JJ Sheffer here representing York Story Slam. Hi, JJ.
Hey, Philip.
How's it going?
It's going great. I haven't slept. This interview should go okay, but when I'm back on in the 3 o'clock hour, I can make no promises.
So you wear many hats like many nonprofiteers in York County, but right this second you're here to talk about one of my favorite events, York Story Slam.
That's right.
Can you tell us about York Story Slam?
Sure. York Story Slam is a monthly open mic live storytelling event. So people from the community, we don't know who until that night when they get there and sign up. Attendees can sign up to share a true 5-minute story based on that month's theme. New last year, I guess partway through last year when we made the switch back to in-person events, we moved it to Archetype Pizza. So now you get to hear stories and eat delicious pizza. It's been selling out every month this year. In fact, last night it sold out for the upcoming one in May, and it's wonderful.
That's awesome. So how many storytellers per event?
We do up to 10, and I actually brought some numbers here with me. So 2023 is our 8th year of doing this, our 8th season. And to date, we have welcomed, and this isn't counting our virtual events, 5,500 attendees.
Wow.
We've had nearly 800 names in the hat to tell stories. So that's 800 true personal first account, personal narrative stories that people have shared in this sort of safe space where you can tell difficult stories, you can tell funny stories. If we pick a theme that's broad enough, you may get to hear that, back to back, those different sort of emotions.
Yeah.
And it's just really a spectacular evening every month. It's a really special sense of community.
Yeah. So if people are sitting at home, maybe they haven't been to a story slam, but maybe they consider themselves a storyteller. They want to share a little bit about them. My favorite part, one, each event is themed, right? So each event has a theme. My recommendation would be to attend an event first. If you are compelled at that event to tell a story, absolutely do that. But I know for a lot of people, they like to attend and maybe warm up to the storytelling part, putting their name in the hat. That's my favorite part of the event. Who's going to put their name in the hat that night?
Yes. That's also the most nerve-wracking for me as the event planner, because I don't know until I get there. So the only thing I get nervous about, because we've been doing it for 8 years, so setting up the event is muscle memory at this point. But I always get nervous that I'm not going to have enough storytellers, and it's never a problem. We always have enough people, even in this smaller venue with fewer people, and it's kind of more intimate now. So the proportion has to be different.
Yeah.
There have to be more people willing to put their name in, and it always works out. Sometimes it takes a little bit of liquid courage during the first half and getting inspired by another story for people to go up at intermission and put their name in, but it always works out, and it's always a really great way to spend an evening.
It is a great way to spend an evening. So from each event then, there is a winner.
That's right.
And those winners go to the Grand Slam.
That's right. The competition aspect of it is not the primary focus. In fact, we don't even, if you've attended them in the past, we don't read the scores out loud anymore. So nobody knows till the end who wins. But having a winner each month, they get scored on content and presentation by whomever that month volunteers from the audience, volunteer judges. And that lets us seed our Grand Slam, as you said, at the end of the year, which is in a bigger venue. We've done it every year at the Appel Center in the Capitol Theater. 200 people show up for that, and that's a little more formal than standing in your neighborhood pizza shop with your pint in your hand. That's, stage and lights and everything. But man, that's a wonderful night too. And that's the third Tuesday in November. This year it falls during Thanksgiving week.
So can you talk a little bit, I am going to put you on the spot and have you name some nonprofits, of course, that you want to support. But before we get there, so you've been doing York Story Slam for 8 years, you said.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about how York Story Slam fits into the larger landscape of story slams in central Pennsylvania and beyond?
Yeah, of course. So our little family of story slams, I got interested in story slams because I was a fan of The Moth radio radio hour that would play on WXPN and WITF. And then I subscribed to the podcast, and I was going through them so quickly that I was like, I should probably look and see if there's any live events like this in the area. And it just, by coincidence, so happened that when I was doing that Googling, it was maybe a month or two after Lancaster Story Slam had started. So our little group of Story Slams started in 2009, actually, in Westchester, in my friend Jim Breslin's living room. And then that grew very quickly, and they moved it to the upstairs of a neighborhood bar in downtown Westchester. Then they spun off and did Delco Story Slam in Delaware County. And then a regular from Westchester was moving to Lancaster, so Jim helped her start one in Lancaster. I happened to show up at that moment, and as I do, I sat there and was enjoying it and thinking, well, York deserves to have something like this. We've got stories. And so, you know, I became part of that community, made friends with them, and then we started this one. And since then, we've helped to start them in Harrisburg, Shippensburg, all over the place. Penn State Health recently started just this past week an internal one for their providers that'll probably be quarterly. So it's a very easily replicable.
I want to pause
format.
there. I wanted you to talk about that because York Story Slam has now spawned. You stole my thunder on that
Sorry.
one. But I didn't know about that until I saw that on Facebook and was so excited to see that. Talk a little bit about how that happened.
It was amazing. So Jason Plotkin, who was an early adopter for York Story Slam, and is actually the current reigning Grand Slam champion in York, holds the title of Best Storyteller in York and the obnoxious trophy we give out at the Grand Slam. Wonderful storyteller and a good friend to everyone he knows. He called me and said, I think I'd like to start something. He works for Penn State Health. I think he's primarily at the medical center, the Children's Medical Center in Hershey. And he said, I'm interested in doing this. Can you show me how? And absolutely. I mean, he's familiar with the format, but I also was able to give him all of our materials and say, here's your starting point. You can adapt it to suit you rather than having to figure it all out on your own. So it's very easy to replicate. All the programs I run are, and there's nothing that makes me happier than giving someone else the tools to start something similar within whatever community they're a part of. And so this past Tuesday evening, they had their first event in Hershey. The next one will be in Lancaster, and the one after that I think is in Reading, wherever their service area is. But it was providers, it was doctors and nurses and chaplains and administrators and comms people, I mean, people from all parts of their organization. They don't record them. Ours are archived, so we have a YouTube channel, and all of ours are on YouTube, and a selection of them are on our monthly podcast, our podcast series. But they decided not to record them because they wanted the people who participated to feel comfortable sharing work-related stories, as long as it doesn't violate HIPAA.
Sure.
So I really wish I could have shared some of them, and they didn't end up being a whole lot of work stories, but man, what a great night. We laughed really hard, and we cried at a couple of them, and just great night. So if anyone is ever interested in starting one, please come find me. We have a contact form on our website, and I would be so happy to help you do that.
Awesome. Website is yorkstoryslam.com.
That's correct.
Excellent. So before I cut you loose, givelocalyork.org, search for York Story Slam. One of my favorite organizations. Highly encourage a donation. JJ, tell me about a few of your favorite organizations today.
I do it in batches throughout the day. So the first gifts I made last night were to York Story Slam and to Cable House Presents, which is the other campaign that I run. I also gave so far to Keystone Kids Space, Dream Rights, Rainbow Rose Center, and then later in the day I'm giving to York Day Nursery, Susquehanna Folk Music Society, the Grotto, the Appel Center, Downtown Inc., the Horn Farm. We have over 1,200 nonprofits in York, over 300 participating today. There are so many good causes. And I don't know if you've talked about this yet on the website, givelocalyork.org, you can search by cause. Mm-hmm. So if you're not familiar with or connected to these organizations, you can find something that represents something you care about and people doing that work.
Awesome. JJ, thank you so much. I will see you later this afternoon.
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.